In this video series, I'm going to play various segments from Tom DeLonge's Secret Machine project, A Fire Within. So spoiler alert on all these videos. I will be weaving these fictional narratives with context to their disclosures that are missed, perhaps because we forget that the purpose of these stories is to disclose hidden information and knowledge. In this way, we'll be able to see some of the more surprising aspects of the phenomenon in a new light, and acknowledge how it has influenced our world in unexpected ways. Welcome to Disclosure 25. Imagine. Our story begins in ancient Iraq with a mason and his apprentice. The story tells of strange bright lights in the night sky, and then the discovery the next morning of the apprentice on the ground surrounded by symbols, with new knowledge on a blue tablet with a metal edge. There's a lot to unpack in this clip, but I want you to focus on a question while you're listening to this. Who or what force is communicating with the mason's apprentice? That phenomenon is the subject of this video.
He was weary, hot, and angry by the time he crested the ridge. But his feelings evaporated as he looked down and saw the boy sitting cross-legged on the baked earth. He was hunched over, engaged in some careful practice, scratching with a stick into the sun-baked clay which was, from time to time, part of the swollen riverbed. He was positioned in the center of a blackened ring that looked scorched into the earth, and beside him was a square slab of stone whose edge was set with what might have been metal, though it was bluish in hue and sparkled strangely. Saying nothing, Warad Marine took a few faltering steps down toward the circle. Hearing his approach, Amar looked up. His face showed every sign of exhaustion, a special delirium of heat and sleeplessness, but his eyes were alive and focused. Around him, etched into the ground with the stick in his hand, were lines and symbols. Not the pictures they used to tell inventory, but something else entirely. And as Warad Marim got closer, he saw that they mirrored the strange fine carvings on the slab of stone. "Amar," he said, cautious and watchful. "What is this?" Amar considered him and smiled. "It is everything," he said, and his face was full of something holy and exalted, as if he had indeed met the goddess and heard her truth. "Not just lists. It is all things on earth and in the heavens made usable, beautiful. It is people and trade and resources. It is story and worship. It is the end of error, of miscommunication. It is the prelude and avoidance of war. It is the stuff of peace, of love, of all things." Warad Marim shook his head, baffled, looking at the strange carved lines and symbols, many of them repeating, sometimes with variations. They spread out around the boy like a carpet, hours of meticulous, bewildering work. "I don't understand," he said. "What is it?" Amar smiled again, this time his usual ordinary boyish smile. "Words," he said, "not pictures, sounds." "How can you draw a sound?" "Like this," said Amar simply. "This," he said, "is a gift from the goddess. It is writing. It will change the world and everyone in it."
Inanna is the ancient Sumerian goddess of love, sensuality, fertility, procreation, and also war. And in this story, she delivers sounds as words, or the capturing of sound for future preservation. For humanity, our history before the written word is considered conjecture. It's based on archaeological evidence, legends, myths, and language analysis. But we don't know much about the players' names, or jobs, or trade partners, or masters, and without any record, our masters were pretty pleased with that arrangement. This may give us a much richer context on the Garden of Eden story. They weren't in a blessed garden. They were on a plantation as slaves for the gods. The delivery of a written language allowed them to recognize things they didn't know. Written language allows fidelity, accuracy to be created about things that have happened in the past. It is the tool that allows us to look at the cycles that we live in and see them over large spans of time. It's what gives us perspective on who we are and where we come from. That is the purpose of our writing, to record how the natural world around us works, and to harness the gift of that knowledge to uplift all the people of the world, to sing and make a joyful noise because of that, to bring peace and understanding to our earth. Not to overstate this, but it is truly to make this heaven on earth. There is a blue tablet out there somewhere, I have no doubt, and we'll explore that story in the last video. I don't know about you, but I'm all for the stuff of peace and of love and all things, and that's the John Lennon theme that we're going to explore in part 2. Shit's weird, bro. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, leave me a comment down below. Peace.